Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be ranking all the Star Wars movies and TV shows that are currently out. So, as you probably know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, if you can't tell by all the Star Wars stuff over there. So, I thought, why not rank all of the movies and TV shows for a video? But before that, I just want to say I love everything on this list. It's Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. I don't hate anything on this list. I love everything, but of course there's certain aspects of certain films and TV shows that I dislike. There's some aspects that I like more than other things. So I just want to get that out of the way. Is that I don't hate anything on this list. I love all of these stories. And the other thing I want to talk about is this is just my opinion. You will probably have a different opinion, and you know what, like 100% you will. There's no way our two views on Star Wars will be similar. So let's just not hate on anyone's opinion here. This is just my my preference and my tier list. If you want to make your own Star Wars tier list, I just found this on Google, so you can probably do the same thing. It's not that hard to find. But yeah, if you want to, we can have a friendly discussion in the comment section if you really want to discuss Star Wars with me. But yeah, let's get into it. So, can we just appreciate how I have sorted these out in chronological order? That very nice, very nice. But let's just start off. Okay, so S tier, obviously the best tier, right? My favorite Star Wars thing ever is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I grew up with this series. I grew up alongside this series, and it's just such an amazing story with amazing characters, and it's my favorite Star Wars thing ever. I absolutely love it. I love how they brought it back for season 7. Season 7 was amazing, and I'm just really happy that they brought it back. It's my all-time favorite Star Wars story ever. Well, not favorite Star Wars story, but favorite like TV series, movie, anything like that. But after the Clone Wars TV series, because if you don't know, there's also a Clone Wars movie. After the TV series, I think my other favorite thing in S tier is going to be Rogue One, a Star Wars story. A lot of my friends, for whatever reason, don't like Rogue One, which is fine. It's good to have your own opinion, good. But for me, Rogue One is amazing. I love the characters. I love the plot. It has some of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars in it. And it's just an amazing movie. And funnily enough, two of my English teachers in high school, their favorite Star Wars movie is also Rogue One. So it is. I know a lot of fans like it, some fans don't like it, but for me it is definitely top S tier. And I think if I'm gonna do one more in S tier, it's gonna be probably Return of the Jedi. I will say that the prequels are my favorite trilogy because I was born during when the prequels were coming out, so the prequels are definitely my favorite out of the trilogies. But Return of the Jedi is amazing. I love the ending so much. I love the whole Battle of Endor. Same with Rogue One. I love the Battle of Scarif, like the space battle and the ground battle aspect of it. I love that. So I think after Rogue One, it would have to be Return of the Jedi. I love Vader's redemption at the end. I love the victory celebration where they're all partying because the Death Star got blown up. It's just a really nice movie. But I think that's it for my S tier though. If we're going into A tier, I think, you know what? Yeah, this is going to upset some people. Star Wars Rebels. Now, this series gets way too much hate from people that have not seen the whole thing. They've seen 1 or 2 episodes and they're like, garbage. And they could not be, in my opinion, they could not be more wrong. You need to seriously, if you haven't seen this and you're a Star Wars fan, you need to seriously give Star Wars Rebels a watch, through the whole thing. I will admit that the first 2 seasons might be a little bit slow, but then the end of season 2 and then season 3 and 4 are just phenomenal. It is probably, now see, I talked about my favorite Star Wars story. I think my favorite Star Wars story will have to be Star Wars Rebels because I love all the characters, especially Kanan. I really like Kanan Jarrus. He's probably my favorite Star Wars character of all time. And seriously, it just gets way too much hate. from people that haven't given it a real try yet. So if you're a Star Wars fan, I recommend Star Wars Rebels. If you haven't seen it, it's an amazing story with a lot of cool characters. But after Star Wars Rebels, I'm gonna have to say Solo. You know, I've never been a huge fan of Han Solo. So when this movie was announced, I was like, okay, because like I'm not like, yeah, Han Solo's cool and all, but he's never been like my favorite Star Wars character. But then I was blown away by this movie. This movie is just such a fun joyride. It's got funny moments, it's got serious moments. I love the end with Darth Maul. Darth Maul is another one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and it's just a great movie. It blew my mind. I wasn't going in expecting it to be much, but it really blew it out of the park. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then after Solo, I think, okay, so this is where things start to get tricky for me. Because after Solo, I'm going to put the prequels, but I'm going to put them like this. Because like I said, the prequels are my favorite trilogy. I know, look, say what you want about the prequels. I love the story that they tell about Anakin and his fall to the dark side. I really like that story. And if I had to rank them right now, actually no, I'm going to change it like this. Like that. Yeah, I definitely think I like episode 1 out of all of the prequels, but I kind of flip-flop back and forth on my ranking of the prequels because these two interchange a lot. It's just all one big story that I really like. I like Anakin, I like Padme, hell, I like freaking Jar Jar Binks. So you know what? The prequels, I love them, my favorite trilogy. Excellent story that it tells about emotions and what happens when you can't let go of some emotions. So that's why I like the prequels the most. But after the prequels now we're in the B ranking. I'm gonna say I'm gonna get so much hate for this because this movie is so controversial, but I'm gonna put The Last Jedi. This is my favorite out of the sequel trilogy of films. The sequel trilogy is by far my least favorite trilogy, but the Last Jedi, it like Rebels, it gets a bunch of hate. It's fans are like 50-50 on this movie, but I adore this movie. I love The Last Jedi. I love the whole thing with Rey and Kylo Ren. I love how Kylo Ren killed Snoke. That was like, when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, what? Like, it did something that no one was expecting, and that's why I love this movie. It just totally changed the game, and I gotta appreciate it for that. I gotta applaud the Last Jedi for that. I love Leia in the movie. I love Rey. I love Kylo Ren. I like what they did with Luke. I know a bunch of people don't like what they did with Luke, but I, for one, actually like that. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic movie. I'm gonna put it right there. But after that, I think we're gonna go with The Mandalorian. Now, The Mandalorian, everyone like this is like fan favorite. Everyone loves The Mandalorian, and I love it too. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that all of these are definitely just a little bit better than The Mandalorian. Of course, I love Grogu. You can see you got a bunch of Grogu or Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him, up there. Yes, it is a great story. It's definitely a little fan servicey at times. That's kind of why it's down on the list at a B ranking, but I still love it, right? Like I still love the story that it tells. I love learning about Mandalore and the Mandalorian culture more. That's awesome, especially with season 2 now. Honestly, I love season 2. I love how they introduced Cobb Vanth, a character that was in 3 chapters out of an entire trilogy of books. He was in the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and the inner Star Wars nerd in me just loves that they were able to bring a very minor character in the books, into live action. That is amazing. It's a really good story, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go in season 3. But after The Mandalorian, we are going to put The Rise of Skywalker. Now, originally, when I first saw this movie, it was probably up in A tier. But now that I've seen it over a couple times, it's going to be lowered a little bit because there are things that I really like about this movie and things that I really don't like about this movie. For one, I loved the message of The Last Jedi about how you don't need to be born from this great lineage to be powerful, like Rey was. But then in The Rise of Skywalker, it turns out, oh, Palpatine survived, and Rey is a Palpatine. I don't exactly really like that, but I understand it, and I understand the message that they're trying to tell with the sequel trilogy about identity, and that your past doesn't define you, and things along those lines. I think that's what the sequel trilogy is trying to tell. But yeah, wasn't a huge fan of Rey being a Palpatine. Wasn't a fan of Palpatine coming back, because it kind of gets rid of Vader's sacrifice in Return of the Jedi, and Vader's return to the light kind of retracts from that a little bit. But it's still a great movie. I love the scene where Rey connects with the Jedi of the past. You can hear people like Ahsoka, Kanan, Aayla Secura, I think was even in there. Yoda, Qui-Gon, Anakin, Mace Windu. Sick scene, awesome scene. And The Rise of Skywalker also has my favorite scene in all of Star Wars, which is Ben Solo's redemption, when he sees his dad and he turns back to the light side. That is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars, and it's in this movie. So yeah, but I think that's gonna do it for B ranking. Now this is a very controversial list, but we can all have our own opinions, okay? In C tier, I'm putting episodes 4 and 5. Like I said, I'm more of a prequel fan than I am an original trilogy fan. I still love the movies though, right? I like all the characters: Han, Chewie, Lando, Leia, Luke. I love all the characters. It's just, I think the stories that have been built off of the original trilogy, I like those stories better. But that's just my opinion, and they're not in D ranking, and I still love them. I kind of flip flop like episode 1 and 3. I kind of flip flop with these back and forth, but I think you know what? Yeah, 4. I think I like 4 more than 5, just to lay a little bit more. But yeah, I still like those movies, and that's why they have their own place here in C tier. Now we're getting into D tier. Keep in mind these 3 things left. I still love these things, just not nearly as much as everything else on this list. I think I'm just gonna flat out plant them in how I want them. So it's gonna be like this. So we have episode 7, which is my least favorite Skywalker Saga movie. It's my least favorite because it's a copy of episode 4, which again isn't ranked very high on my list. Even though I love it, it's not my favorite Star Wars thing ever. So episode 7, copy of episode 4. It was okay, right? Like, yeah, I love it and it's cool and all, but we've already seen that story. So, you know, it's the first one in a D ranking. And then after that we have Star Wars Resistance, which, like Star Wars Rebels, people don't even see this show and they hate on it. Which, first of all, this show is for children. All of Star Wars is for children. Lucas himself, George Lucas, says that Star Wars is for kids. So I don't understand why a show like Resistance gets all the hate it does when it's not meant for you to watch. It's meant for kids. But you're still allowed to watch it, even if you don't like it. You can watch it, but you shouldn't hate it because it's not for you. But I have watched Resistance. I think I've watched it 2 times. And there's only 2 seasons in Resistance. I definitely like season 1 more than season 2, especially the finale of season 1. I think the season 1 finale of Resistance is amazing. It's probably the best part of that show. Season 2 finale, it was okay. It wasn't as good as the season 1 finale. But I do wish that this show connected a little bit more in with The Rise of Skywalker, because this show takes place in between episodes 7 and 9. It starts even a little bit before episode 7. The season 1 finale happens during episode 7. So it is cool like that, but I wish the season 2 finale connected in a little bit with the other movie in that trilogy. But yeah, I don't mind the characters. I like the story told with the characters. I like how Tam, This person here, she went to join the First Order, all because Kaz, this is Kaz here, he didn't tell her the truth about how he was part of the Resistance. I really like that. It was a total shock when she joined the First Order. I was like, what? That was sick, and it's got some good messages about trust and friendship, and I like it. It's okay, but obviously it's not meant for me. It's meant for a much younger audience, and that's totally okay. But the last thing on this list is going to be the Clone Wars movie. the Clone Wars movie is going to be the last thing on my tier list here, because I watched this movie so many times as a child, and it was fun when I was a child. But rewatching it over these past few years now, it's like, it's okay. Obviously, it introduces Ahsoka, fan favorite Ahsoka, and she's awesome. But it's probably my least favorite Star Wars thing here, because just the message it tells is just, it isn't really clear to me. Like, I like to think of Star Wars very thematically, and I can't really exactly see a lot of themes emerging in the Clone Wars movie. But that is just me. It's not my favorite Star Wars story, but I still love it. And plus, it has Jabba's son. Like, who doesn't like Rota the Hutt? We all love Jabba's son. We gotta see more of that man. But anyways, I think this is it for my Star Wars tier list. Let's have a friendly discussion in the comment section. I know my tier list is definitely different than some other people's, but this is just how I like to see Star Wars. And again, I love all of these things on here. They're all, I can see them all as their own thing, and as part of whatever trilogy they're in. I love everything on this list. This is just my opinion, and I know we will have different opinions. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let me know in the comments your Star Wars tier list, and bye.